Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. We are so glad that you have joined us. Erin Evernham and Steve Post here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Was out at the Roval all weekend long. One of our sprint car guys, Christopher Bell.
Yeah, I got to watch the end of that one.
Locked himself in. It was chaos at the end. It was chaos.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, it was.
I mean, but C. Bell just navigating his way through like a talented sprint car driver at Grandview would do. You know, I mean, we had
Chase Briscoe, too, did a pretty good job.
Chase Briscoe did a good job. Another one of our sprint car guys did a good job. Old Chase was wheeling and dealing at the end of that thing. Yep. It was coming through. No, I don't care. Wild. Stuff's wild. Stuff's wild everywhere. Stuff's wild everywhere. It really is. So, craziness, that's for sure. So, and you were on horse show duty again.
I was. Kate got champion this weekend, so her and Pancake had a good show.
Oh, my gosh, old Pancake and Cake. Taking it right to the top. That's good. Fun stuff. That really is. No, it's all good. I'm bummed. Two things. I'll go chronological. Last Wednesday night, I roll into Millbridge Speedway, and Cole DeWeese was racing.
I saw
that
picture.
And his less famous dad, Lance, was there. I had a good chance to talk with Lance.
His crew chief,
always
bad.
Yeah, always great to talk with Lance. Yeah. He's doing well. Really, he's, typical Lance. Well, not typical Lance. He said, it looks like you're pretty good at the grill. He said, yeah, we're pretty good there. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Because it's like, years later, we're not. We're terrible. We're lucky if they even let us in the pit area. Lucky if they take our money. He's feeling pretty good about the Grove. Yeah. He's got that car rolling pretty good there. Now, then they're back with the National Open coming up. But just when you get a chance to spend 5 or 10 minutes with Lance DeWeese, your life has been better.
Yeah. I always enjoy talking to him.
I walked away. He was wrenching on Cole's car, and I don't like to bother for long. I walked away, and I'm just like, man, I could leave here now and be perfectly fine because I talked to Lance DeWeese. It was cool. And then Saturday night, my game plan, and I think I shared this, was I was going to try to get over to the Carolina Sprint Tour race at Harris. Wonderful parking spot at Charlotte. Very, very convenient parking spot at Charlotte. Convenient parking sometimes means not such good egress. Yes. And I jumped in the car, and I punched in Harris, and it was going to be 7:30 arrival. And I'm like, okay, I can live with this. Yeah. That's good. Their driver's meeting and stuff started at 7 or whatever it was. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be able to catch it. And I sat there, and it went. And I had to make a stop or two on the way, and it was going to be almost 9 o'clock before I got there. And so I opted to go and have a nice, quiet, peaceful evening at home. I went on to my race pass, and by 9 o'clock when I'd arrived there, the heat races were already done. My fear was that Harris would run. Then my fear on the other side of it is, and then they're going to want to run all night because they're a Southern short track. Yeah. They're going to want to keep me there till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't want that either. Both fears were realized. Not fears were realized. It was the right decision was made. I was going to be late, and the sprint car feature was done at 10:30, so which was great. Good to know because that way I'll get a chance to go there again. And a guy I was going to have it in the notes, but I want to mention this. Richard Wisdow was the winner, 63-year-old, his career first sprint car win.
Wow, that's a neat story.
Yeah, so it really is. So I'd like to have gotten out there. And I love our Carolina Sprint Tour guys and gals, and it's just the schedule since the pandemic. My schedule, and those of you that know the full picture, those of you that don't, my full picture is that my real job is pit road reporter for MRN. So MRN dictates the schedule. Then we plug in a few Wing Nation road shows, and then we go from there with it. And it's really strange, like there's a local late model tour I do pay-per-view for, the Cars Tour. Last year, I was able to do 8 of their races, the way the calendar fell. Yeah. Off weekends, PRN weekends, and everything like that. This year, 1. Just the way the schedule falls. Carolina Sprint Tour, 1 year, I was able to do 5 or 6 of their races. I haven't seen one of their shows since the pandemic. Just the way things fall. Yeah. And I miss that. So, but kudos to all of the racers wrapping up their seasons and having a good time doing so. We're going to talk with Ryan Hand and Tyler Courtney here on the program. Ryan is the crew chief, the latest crew chief, the 3rd crew chief of the year for Anthony Macri. And Ryan was formerly with Mike Heffner and Greg Hodnett. So Anthony Macri's in good hands. If this is a long-term deal, maybe it's a
good hands.
We don't know. See what I did there? That's why I'm in radio, baby. And we're going to have a little sunshine on the show as well today.
Oh, God, look at you with the puns.
I'm bringing my A game. That's all, folks. Thank you very much. I can't do any better than that. Thanks for joining us. Let's get to our Hefner Racing product hot topics. Woo! The Outlaws rolled into Pennsylvania, and they got it handed to them.
They did. Been a while since that's happened.
Yeah. I remember one night in Ohio about probably 8 years ago, they didn't show up on the podium.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's happened. I don't know when's the last time they were swept off the podium. Well, I know it is now, Friday night. Anthony Macri, career first World of Outlaws victory, Lance Deweese and Logan Wagner. Saturday night, right back at it. It wasn't a sweep of the podium. Macri picked up a second win. Brett Marks and David Gravel represented the World of Outlaws getting on the podium. I have this point battle still as Brad's. I still have it as Brad's, but David Gravel in Pennsylvania, and I think the challenge is Pennsylvania can separate things where I don't think Nebraska or Kansas, where they're going now, I'm not sure that they'll separate as much. But there is one more show in Pennsylvania. But he took 94 points down to 66. Yeah, he took a big chunk out of it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking to Roach, Ryan Hand, and get his take on it as well. All-Star Circuit of Champions. We're out at Fremont, the Jim and Joanne Ford Classic. Friday night, Tyler Courtney led all 35 laps to get the win, his 8th win of the season. It was sunshine, Justin Peck and Cap Henry. Cap Henry, of course, was recently removed from the Lane Motorsports team. So he was up there wheeling a car for Rich Farmer. And lots and lots of great reaction to Cole running so well for Rich Farmer in that 29 car. Saturday, Cole Duncan, his second All-Star win of the season. Any guess where his first All-Star win was?
No idea.
Yeah, right. Atomic Speedway, of course. Travis Philo and Kyle Reinhardt picked up the win. And as I mentioned, this Sunshine going to join us. I was reading about this morning, and we make our guest list up on Sunday or Monday, and I would have done it a little bit different, quite honestly. The Maury Williams Tribute Race, first race Corey Day won, and of course we've talked to Corey, we've talked about Corey. Tim Kading picked up the ride in the Kowalski number 57 car.
I was happy to see that.
Yeah, happy to see that. He finished second. Shane Golobic was third. Second race, Jonathan Allard picked up the win. Justin Cox, Austin McCarl. For Allard, it was 41st career NARC win. It was back, and this was the Maury Williams Memorial Tribute 20s. Back in 2005, Maury Williams took a chance on Jonathan Allard.
Yeah. 3-time
champion, many time wins, and he was driving the Williams Motorsports Zero car on Saturday night. Pick up the win. So, I'll tell you what, there's some King of the West Series races and West Coast races, and Trophy Cup is coming up, so Jonathan Allard just needs to go win one of those, and we'll
get him on
to talk about all of it. I love stories like this, and Jonathan Allard's just a great racer.
Yeah.
And really neat that he picked up the win in the second 20 race. So other winners, Brian Monteith Classic on Thursday night was Gio Scelzi up at Lincoln. MOA was Joe B. Miller, picked up the win at Jacksonville, and they raced at Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. Brandon Mattis picked up the victory there. So getting down there, we're halfway through October, and we don't have nearly the results that we used to have here. But it is time now for race teams for y'all to get set up for next year. So Hefner Racing Products has it all, including HRP Wings, the original reset rivet wing manufacturer. They use wind tunnel and track performance testing to outpace the industry in design, in innovation, and in functionality.
And it's not only sprint cars, but lightning sprints, micros, and junior sprints. It can be shipped across the world and can be economically ground shipped to your door.
www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. Stay with us when we come back. Ryan Hand, crew chief for Anthony Macri. He joins us next.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Man, oh man, did Anthony Macri take it to him.
He sure
It didn't
did.
matter who you were. You could have been posse, you could have been outlaws, you could have been some drifter coming over from California or Ohio, old
23 years old, old Macri.
Old Macri just took it to him. That's right. I should have worn my cruise shirt. His mom gave me a cruise shirt.
Oh, man,
I
you could have
should've-
gotten some credit for
I
this.
know. I could have. She gave me a cruise shirt up there, and I just saw it. Oh, man, I'm an idiot. That's for sure. Who is not an idiot is the guy that's turning the wrenches on that car. Our old buddy Ryan Hand joins us. Hello, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. Ryan, you, and we'll get into your story a little bit here. You've been around the Macri family for some time. Had to be a neat moment for you to get Anthony and you and Anthony to get that first World of Outlaw win on Friday night.
Yeah, it's pretty a moment I'm pretty proud of because I know it's it was one of the things that he kind of had in his goals for this year to check off and hadn't been able to do it yet. And obviously Port Royal is certainly in his wheelhouse, and if it's going to happen, it would more likely happen there. Not saying it can't happen at the Grove or anywhere else, but that seems to be a very good place for him and the team. And it was very satisfying, and I'm happy for everyone involved to get the first Outlaw win there.
Ryan, you've worked with a lot of incredible race car drivers throughout the year. When I watched that feature on Saturday night and the moves he made, battling with Brent Marks and just the lines he runs, he seems extremely mature and so talented for 23 years old. How would you compare him to other drivers you've worked with?
Man, I've never really worked with anybody quite as young as Anthony, that's for sure. I was lucky enough to work with, obviously, Greg Hodnett, and when I was at my Zemco days, I was able to work with guys like Stevie Smith, Danny Listowski, Brian Lepo, Sam Haverteef, guys like that had, kind of had experience coming in. So, Anthony's probably in his sixth year, full-time year running 410s, started at the age of 16, but his maturity level, I think, as far as like what he can do in a race car now has come a long way probably in the last year and a half, like huge. I feel like he's made huge leaps and bounds in the last year and a half.
Yeah, he really has. I think the skill set is there, but you see it, Ryan, so much. This thing is, there's a lot between the ears that goes into this, and he seems like he's unflappable at times.
Yeah, no, I think this year the focus level he has this year is truly something that I haven't seen out of him ever before. And I think that's a lot of why you're seeing a lot of success out of him. I think he feels like, he's the guy to beat for sure on certain nights at certain places for sure. I don't think he ever goes into a race going, I can't win this. Obviously, why would you go? But I think his focus level and what he can do, what he's learning to do in a race car now is definitely, it's taken leaps and bounds the last year and a half.
Ryan, he was really complimentary to you in Victory Lane, and he talked about you guys trying something, I think it was on Friday night in Hot Laps, that he seemed to really like. How is it working with Anthony? You talked about how you work with a lot of veteran drivers, and obviously he's pretty young. How different is it as far as communication and feedback?
Honestly, it's a lot different because, like, when I worked with Greg, I always felt like there was almost information overload. He analyzed everything. As a former engineer, he analyzed every part of it and almost too much. Like I'm this there, I'm that here, and it was like, oh my God, I got to figure out. We got to start somewhere and try to make a change. Where Anthony, I don't think he has nearly as much experience as Greg did at that point. He just kind of has an idea of what he wants to feel, especially at places like Port Royal, Steel and Screw, places that we run here a lot, big tracks like that. He knows what he wants to feel, and he actually has a really good idea how to get there. That's probably one of the best parts about working with him is I really don't have to come up with all the answers. He gives a lot of answers. He knows what he wants to feel, and I'll shoot things at him. I'll say, hey, you want to do this? Nah. How about we try this? And we're all trying to fix the same problem, like a particular problem. And I'll throw a couple things at him, and he'll knock a couple down, and then we'll finally say, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's try that. And luckily for us, the last couple months here, it seems like everything we throw at it has worked. So it's been really good, and it's amazing. Honestly, I keep telling a lot of people it's amazing how far he's come in a year and a half, 2 years. It's really crazy.
So it sounds like Anthony knows the car really well. Like, it sounds like you're giving suggestions on actual changes to make, and he's responding with yes or no. He may or may not like that. That doesn't seem typical for a 23-year-old.
No, he's very hands-on now. He's always been hands-on. Like, even like when him and Moon Byers started, they started racing together. And Moon, his father wanted him to know how to work on the race car. So he was side by side with Moon. And then, when Jim Shuttlesworth came over, they worked together in the shop. So it's not like he doesn't know how to work on a race car, or doesn't know the ins and outs of a race car. He certainly does. And right now, basically, I work for his father at the concrete business, and we're wide open here. So he's pretty much taking care of the race car and a lot of the stuff involved with it by himself right now. Because obviously Bernie's in Indiana, I'm here at work. He gets one of our guys Hank, that helps with tires, and he's one of the best tire guys I've ever worked with. He can go down there once in a while when we're not terribly busy and help him out. But for the most part, Anthony's pretty much working on the race car and cleaning up the stuff and doing that all himself. So he's definitely taking on a bigger workload, and he's doing a good job with it.
Ryan, I want to kind of figure out where you're at with all of this because you've been such a successful crew chief for Greg Hodnett. You had announced that you were stepping away from crew chiefing because I can't understand why anyone would want to be a crew chief, let alone, so I can understand why stepping away from it. You were going to step away, and then obviously the tragic events where we lost Greg's life, and you actually got a job, and you, right at that point, you started working for Anthony's dad in the concrete business, and you had stepped away. You worked a little bit with Jeremy Elliott, did some podcasting, and great stuff as far as that goes. Was the itch always there to kind of get back working on cars? Was there in the back of your mind, or where was that period of time? Where were you at during that period of time?
Well, I'll just go back a little bit in the whole thing. When the whole thing with Moon left here, Nick kind of asked me, he said, hey, do you think you could be like he calls it director of racing, like for lack of a better word, like kind of like oversee stuff, like, hey, help take some load off some of these guys, like order parts, take care of airline tickets, hotels, whatever. So I've been involved with the race team for a while. Like, I know the ins and outs of it. I don't know the day-to-day stuff that they do, whatever, but I am involved in it, and that was perfect. That was perfect. That kept me involved in racing, and then doing the podcast with Jeremy kept me involved with what's going on daily, and I still watch all the races and stuff. But it was a need when Jim kind of left. We kind of had a need that, like, Bernie obviously couldn't come in here every weekend, and we kind of sat down and looked at the schedule of what was left, and we really didn't want to hire someone away from another team. It was almost Knoxville time. That would have been pretty, I think, not a good thing to do to other teams, is to take a guy, right. That was a bad timing, basically. And I just told Nick, I said, listen, if Bernie can do most of it, I'll fill in the voids, with whatever works for me. And my daughter is playing soccer and softball, and she's since gotten hurt in soccer, so that she's not playing. So that kind of opened up maybe a couple extra doors for me to do a couple more races. But for the most part, I don't go to the races a lot, but I am involved in the Macri team a little bit, even without being the crew chief. So it's awesome because it gives me just enough racing, because I'm going to say I still love racing, but I don't love the grind of racing every day yet. I'm not back to where I love that, but I still love racing. I love the people there. I love going to watch the races, especially when you have really good races at really good facilities like we have out here. It can be entertaining for me, and I don't miss a night on any of the pay-per-views. So, I still love racing. I just don't love the grind of it like I used to.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. Ryan, when you're not full-time crew chiefing, I know you're saying you're involved with the day-to-day business of the team, but is that difficult to stay on top of, I don't know, any latest products or latest things going on or trends, or are you enough involved that you still keep up with it?
I'd like to think that I talk to enough. I have a lot of friends in the racing industry, and I still talk to people. And you know, yeah, I'd like to think that I'm up on enough of it that I can be okay when I have to come back and do whatever needs to be done. But yeah, there certainly is stuff that I look at walking through the pits. I look at cars and go, oh, that's something that I haven't seen for a while or seen ever or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I feel like as much as stuff changes year to year, the big picture of it kind of stays the same, and you kind of you still got to give the race car what it wants when it wants it. And, I mean, we started with a great platform. When Jim was here, he had Anthony won 16 or 17 races, up to that point. So it's not like there's some new magic here. We've just continued to kind of polish the stone and keep it going and keep the momentum going forward, and, maybe tinker with certain things and try to make it faster.
We've talked a lot about this. We've talked a lot about Anthony because he's at 23 wins. You talk about a guy that wins all the time. And it's like, okay, what's going to happen when Jim leaves? Okay, is it and Bernie jumps in and he keeps on winning, and then you jump in and he keeps on winning. The common denominator here is Anthony. And I think that speaks volumes for the young man as well. So as you look at this, is the goal, I don't want to get too far deep into your the family's business or anything, is the goal to ultimately though hire a full-time crew chief on the deal?
I think that's what we're hoping can happen here. Obviously Bernie has a shop in Indiana that he has to run, and we're getting super busy here at work. So it's nothing that I have time for, or Bernie really has time for. And the workload, for Anthony as a driver and to try to keep doing everything there, it's a massive undertaking. And yeah, I think the goal here is to try to find someone that's going to fit within the team and hopefully gel quickly and with the knowledge, and obviously personalities are a big thing with, trying to mesh a bunch of personalities together for an amount of time is certainly it's one of the things that I look at the World of Outlaws, and I even question some of them guys, and they're like, yeah, it's one of the hardest things to put together. So, I think, yeah, we are trying to find the right guy, so we can move forward and go racing quite a bit next year,
There we go. That sounds good. That sounds really, really good. Family life away from this. I mean, I guess there's a soccer injury, so we're on the sidelines there, but everything good with the family? And you talked about a little bit like life balance. You pretty good? It seems like you have a pretty good life balance with everything.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with how everything's going in life right now. And, I get to obviously spend a whole lot more time with my daughter than I did the first 11 years of her life with racing nonstop. And yeah, I'm very thankful. I think I made a very good decision at the time I made it. Obviously there were circumstances that helped probably quicken that decision, but they weren't good circumstances. But as far as like my family life and everything, yeah, I'm extremely happy with, being able to spend weekends and time with my wife and kid. And yeah, no, it's been good. And I still, they're cool enough to let me go racing when we're kind of in a bind and need someone to do something here.
I love it. I really do. Good things happening to good people, that is for sure. And you're one of the good ones, that's for sure, yeah. Ryan. We really appreciate that. Thanks for the time. Congratulations on the wins. What's so you've got Williams Grove coming up. What else do you guys have left?
Anthony's actually going to go run a Silver Crown car this weekend.
Oh, I heard that. I heard that. So
yep.
You're not involved with that. You're just going to watch that.
No, that Sean, he's actually going to drive Chris Dyson's car, which is worked on by Shawn Michaels, which is housed very close.
Yeah.
Sean moved his shop down here to Dillsburg area, so they're very close to where we are, and it, Anthony runs the 360 for Sean and stuff. So there's there's kind of another kind of I'm going to say a team there, like he's run with them before, so it's they're just going to run a second car here at Silver Crown race, and then after that, I believe it would be a Friday night at BAPS, Saturday night at Williams Grove National Open, and then I think Bridgeport has like a sort of a 3-day weekend, and then I believe Charlotte could possibly be on the docket after that.
Good
and then that'll probably put a fork in her for the year.
Yeah, good stuff. That's for sure. Ryan, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thanks for joining us.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
There we go, Ryan Hand. Boy, he's always been one of those guys. I love talking to in the pits and everything, and I love doing the podcast with Jeremy Elliott. Just such good insight. He really is good with it, and I like hearing. We had chatted at Port Royal. It was during COVID, and I forget, somebody in his family had gotten it, and he was just like, "Well, I'm not quarantining. I'm with my family, and I'm all in." And I was just like, "Man, dude, that's badass. You're just that guy. That you're that dad. You're that husband." And to find that balance is so difficult to do. So difficult to do. So many families struggle. So many marriages fail. So much happens in this sport. And the reality of it is here's a guy that's been able to navigate into a really good spot.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is. That Woman in with Drive event that I was part of last
You were
week,
part
which,
of, that's
which
right.
was awesome. But I bring this up because I was part of the seminar that was called "How Do You Do It All?" You know, people, women that have children and their marriages, and I was like, who signed me up for this? Because whoever has it figured out is going to be a gazillionaire. Because it's impossible. Everything is a balance, and like you were talking about now, to try to find that balance it's a daily struggle.
Yeah, it is. It's a moment-by-moment struggle. It really, truly is. And love where Ryan is at with it. And boy, I'll tell you what, when the bench is Ryan Hand or the bench is Bernie, man, I'll tell you what, Anthony Macri's got it pretty good up there. But like I said, it didn't matter if the guy's name was Jim or Bernie or Ryan. The same guy was wheeling that car to victory lane.
Very true.
Amazing talent. Great story, that's for sure. And speaking of great stories, we are going to put a little sunshine into the program. Tyler Courtney, he joins us next. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose-builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific applications. They design and manufacture mobile-style, single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. It's a no one-size-fits-all approach with Aggressive Hydraulics. Hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com.
This next story just keeps getting better and better and better. 2018, Tyler Courtney was the USAC National Sprint Car Champion. 2019, USAC National Midget Champion. And all of a sudden you hear Sunshine wants to go wing racing. Sunshine wants to go wing racing. 2020 was a transition year, 33 wing races, 13 non-wing races, and other stuff going on as far as sprint cars and midgets goes. 2021, full-time all-star champion. 2022, full-time all-star champion. 2 back-to-back championships here, and he joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Tyler Courtney, hello, Sunshine, how are you?
Good, guys. How are you?
We are doing well. I'm telling you what, this ride you're on's been pretty good. This whole journey's been pretty neat, I bet.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible, honestly. Since we started, cross horse racing in 2016 to now. We thought we'd have success, but I don't think we kind of expected to do the things we've done, especially when we jumped to the wing stuff, last year full time, and come out win the championship last year, and then be able to back it up this year. So just incredible. I think 2 championships are hard to get back to back. We came up 18 points short in the sprint car from 18 to 19, and then from the midget from 19 to 20, we were 1 point short. So, we know how hard it is to, win back-to-back championships, and to be able to do it with the All-Stars this year was just something that, I think I wanted to do really bad, and my team wanted to do really bad, and, we made sure it happened.
Tyler, how do you compare the championships? Obviously, the first one will always have a special place, but the second one has to give you a good sense of validation, or just backs up that belief in how good your team is. How different does it feel to win the second one?
I think this one was, I think you come off last year. Last year when we won, it wasn't expected, right? And then you come into this year, and you're kind of expected to go out and be the favorite to win the championship, and to live up to that hype or expectations is usually a lot harder, and it was. And we came out, we won the first 2 races, and then we went through a patch where we struggled, and and then Justin Peck and his team, they stepped it up this year, and they, up until Fremont, they had 1 more race with us. Then we ended up tying him in victories for the season. But man, I think night in and night out, he was the guy we had to beat every night, and it was tough. Went through a couple rough patches, and we made sure to capitalize on the good patches that we had. It was I think a lot more grueling of a season, I think, for us, as far as performance, and just making sure everything went right. And but I think that just makes you appreciate this one a lot, that much more, right? And I think the biggest difference was going from not expecting to win a championship to going into this year and being expected to win one, and holding yourself to those standards is is always a tough part.
Well, I find the All-Stars just fascinating, and I think we've talked to you about this as well. It's almost like there's 3 parts to the All-Stars. There's Ohio Speed Week. You've got to survive that. There's so many races in Pennsylvania that are very, very difficult, very, very challenging, where you can separate things, and then there's the rest of the season. Is that accurate? And is there portions of that you favor to the others? How do you balance that with the All-Star schedule? Because it's so fascinating how dynamic it is.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Ohio Speed Week is a big chunk of your schedule put into 1 week, 9 races in a row, and it's a very easy week to get behind or get ahead. And, this year Justin, came out and won Ohio Speed Week. And, luckily we ran top 5 almost every night along with them to, kind of keep pace. But, very easily a couple nights could have gone bad. And, luckily we were able to salvage. And, then you go to Central Pennsylvania, and a couple of those big races that we go to, and, just I feel like almost every race we go to Central Pennsylvania is a big race. And obviously with the talent they have up there right now is just those tracks you don't get to go to a lot are very unique and very, I think setup sensitive. And you show up there and you're off your game a little bit, it shows. And so you have to show up there and be ready to fight, every time you go there. And it's tough. And then I think the other part of the All-Star schedule is going to tracks that I'd never been to before. We went to a couple new places in New York this year, and then a couple other new places, and just making sure that you're doing your homework on those places where you get there to try and figure it out as quick as you can to be ahead of the competition. But I think the All-Stars, even from last year to this year, everyone as a series stepped up, man. I think the All-Stars still kind of get slept on a little bit. I think a lot of us can show up and be competitive night in and night out anywhere we go, but it still just kind of gets looked on as obviously the Outlaws is the upper echelon, and then the All-Stars. But I think we got a few guys with the All-Star series that can show up and compete, and I think we were able to do that. The few races some of the All-Stars showed up to.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. I feel like this year the All-Stars were a bit stronger across the board. Tyler, every time we speak with you, we talk about your team and your sponsor. It just seems like such a great place to be, a comfortable place with a lot of security. You have NOS Energy Drink, you have the Clausens and the Marshalls. Talk about what that team means to you and how much fun it was to celebrate this championship with them.
Yeah, I think I have one of the teams and, a core group of people, around me that, a guy could ask for in this sport. The sport's obviously tough as it is, but to be able to have a team like Clausen Marshall Racing with the Marshalls and the Clausens, and then, my crew guys, Jake, Luke, and Peyton, they're awesome. And then you throw in our sponsor, Lauren Albano, with Not So New to Drink. It's been with us, I think it's our 6th year. Just having that security and knowing you have that support behind you is, confidence in itself, honestly. Just knowing you don't really have, anything to worry about. Just go out there and do your job and, do what you're there for. And, that gives you, a lot of comfort as a driver to just go out there and be the best race car driver you can be. And, I think it showed, obviously, the last couple of years that we can do this at a professional level and at a, night in and night out. And, we just keep sticking together and, building the program into what we keep seeing it should be, and, trying to make it better each year. And, hopefully we'll keep doing this for a long time.
Has Richard got you far down the fitness trail as far as all of his?
Nah.
My gosh, he's a machine.
Yeah. They're animals when it comes to the fitness stuff. I do a little bit of working out, but probably not as much as I should. It's just, honestly, we race a lot, and then when you are home, honestly, the last thing you want to do is work out. But I should probably change that mindset a little bit. But like this week is my off week, and my twin brother just had his first daughter, so it's my first niece, first time being an uncle. So I've come down here and to Texas, where he lives, to visit with them and, kind of spend family time. We give up a lot for racing, and, this is a week I had free. So I figured this is an absolute must that I needed to come do.
That's certainly a good way to celebrate the championship. Now that you've got that wrapped up, you're going to finish off the season with any more races? You're going to come to Charlotte?
Yeah, we'll be in Charlotte Charlotte will be the last race with the 7BC. Next weekend, I'm going to Trophy Cup with Kevin Kozlowski and the 57 car. And then I'm going to run some midget stuff at Placerville and Turkey Night for Jerome Rodella and Tom Malloy. And then I think that's it. Well, then I go to Australia to run for Luch Monty in the Monty Motorsports number 17, and spend about a month down there before we come back and get going over here again.
Yeah, that'll be it. That's for sure. A final thought with you here, Tyler. You did the transition from non-wing to wing sprint cars, and in complete honesty, and I know it's not a lot of work. I know you guys have ground this out. But in honesty, you guys have, to some degree, made it look simple, okay? And I know it's not. I'm not saying it's been simple or anything. But when you look at what's happened, and I literally just sit down here jotting notes down. Kevin Thomas Jr., Chris Wyndham, Tanner Thorson, Zeb Wise has come over as well. You kind of started something here. Some of them have done all right. Other ones have struggled. Do you talk to those guys much? Is there any where they're picking your brain about this process or anything? Are you guys not close that way? What's your take on that transition that I think you kind of spearheaded that?
Yeah, no, I talked to quite a few of them. Chris, obviously the closest friend I have, and then KT. I talked to both of them last year as they were starting to talk about coming over this way, to the wing side of things, and I just told them to just be prepared to struggle a little bit. Those guys coming from being really dominant non-wing guys to the wing world, it's a shock at first when you come and you're just not running up front right away or winning races right away like you're used to. It's a shock to the system, and you just got to be able to grind it out and build your programs into what was take it from a winning non-wing team to turn it into a winning wing team. And it's tough, and it's more mental than anything, I think, to just get yourself to be prepared to run 5th to 14th or 19th some nights, and just keep grinding out to turn it into those turn those 5ths into 3rds and 3rds into wins and things like that. It's but I try to help those guys as much as I can. I think that the better guys we keep getting over into the wing stuff, keep making it more competitive, and the better the race is going to be. And if you get everybody on the same level, then you're beating the best guys night in and night out. And I'm a firm believer in you're only as good as your competition. So you make your competition as good as you can, then you can be a good race car driver.
No doubt. And you are doing well. And some of them are doing well, too. It's been fascinating to watch different situations and scenarios. We had Chris on our TV program a couple of weeks back, and neat stuff. I got to spend time with Georgia, his girlfriend down at Daytona. She actually worked with us and got a lot of the backstory, and it's fascinating. It really is neat stuff for sure. Tyler, congratulations on the success. We'll see you in a few weeks here in Charlotte, and we wish you the best as you continue on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, and I'm sure I'll talk to you again soon.
There we go. Sunshine. Tyler Courtney joining us here on Wing Nation. It is fascinating to me how that has gone, and Chris, I think Chris kind of mimicked a lot of what Tyler just said. And I know Chris and Tyler, they're probably the two closest of those guys. And Chris said, it's just like you're so used to winning all the time. And we run into this with NASCAR. Now, I'm telling you, you don't make it to NASCAR unless you're very, very good at this business.
Yeah.
And you're used to winning, and you get to the premier level and you go 2 years without winning races. That's between the ears. That's a mind game.
Absolutely.
To be like, wow, last time at Port Royal we were 13th, and this time, we're 9th.
To step it back to look at improvements versus results. Yeah.
Fun stuff. Love it, and love what Tyler Courtney has done. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing Lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing, and they support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. On orders of $20 or more, use promo code MRN for free shipping. You can check them out at www.circlebdiecast.com. Flow Racing is the ultimate digital home track for race fans everywhere. Subscribe today and stream over 1,300 racing events live and on demand. Flow Racing is something for everyone. It's what we know. Sprint cars are there. NASCAR weekly racing series, drag racing, off-road, and much, much more. Learn more at flowracing.com/GoMRN. That's flowracing.com/GoMRN. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, One Sprint Car Place, Knoxville, Iowa. I just got an email from my friend Bob Baker. They've just redone the entire sprint car stuff page.
Oh, I didn't get that update. I better check it out.
I literally got it like 10 minutes before.
Oh, so maybe
airtime.
I did get it.
You maybe did get it. So sprintcarstuff.com is all updated and ready for the most wonderful time of the year, the holiday season. Well, no, in Knoxville, the most wonderful time of the year is August. But the rest of us, the most wonderful time of the year. We always do this in the guys in the conversation about the birthday calendar. Yesterday, Emmett Hahn's birthday. Emmett turned another lap around the sun, if you will. Wally Muskowski, Tom Cherry, Chris Economaki, Norm White later this week. Tomorrow would have been the 100th birthday of Don Martin, 2001 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. This story, as I dug deeper, I dug a little bit into I kind of did the Cliff Notes, and I'm like, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's the next thing I know. It's like, I gotta put a bow around this. Doug owned a trucking company excavation business, which helps part of the story a little bit later on. He also owned race cars, modifieds. He owned an Indy Roadster. He raced that against sprint cars all over the west coast or western part of Pennsylvania. His uncle, Frank Lerner, owned an amusement park called Lernerville. Don remembered when he was a kid in the 30s, they used to race stock cars at Lernerville. So he went out to the old property and dug out a racetrack. In 1967, they started to race, and boy, he learned one lesson quick: how to lose a pile of money. And he did. He decided either in or out. 1970, we're in. They expanded the racetrack, built up the stands, built up the fencing. One of the other things that he did, two other things he did that were not always done back then: guaranteed purses and efficient shows. Get people out of there at a decent hour. Well, the place went from losing money to making money. 1980s, he started to turn a profit. In 1992, he came up with this idea: why don't we do a one-day World of Outlaws show and pay a whole bunch of money? The Silver Cup for the World of Outlaws, $25,000 for a one-day show. Pretty sporty.
Pretty sporty in 92.
No doubt about it. In 92.
Yeah.
You dropped one of those on us now and they'd be happy.
Exactly.
In 92, I can't imagine old King Steve Kinzer probably out there doing backflips down the front straightaway.
He won a few of them.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. You're right about
He
that.
won a lot of
those. Yeah, he cashed a lot of those big checks. He was honored in 92 with the Promoter of the Year. Sadly, in 1993, Don passed. But man, in Lernerville, it just is so good up there. I love that place. I got to get back up there. I was close. I was close this year and couldn't pull the trigger on a trip to get up. I had a lot of that this year. Yeah. I had a lot of close. The problem, Erin, is I'm getting old. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Oh. Well, it's that balance thing.
It's that balance thing. Exactly. It's that balance thing that Roach talked about. All right. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. They have the sprint car raffle coming up. Tickets are $20 each, 6 for $100. Drawing is December 16th. SprintCarRaffle.com. Oh, wait, there's more.
Yep, it's a Triple X chassis and a Moyle racing engine. But the current display right now is a tribute to Ascot. You can become a supporting member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame for only $25, which gets you free admission to the museum and 10% discount on museum store merchandise that Postman was talking about.
Yes, indeed. So there you have it. So our friends at the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. This weekend coming up, World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, I-80 Speedway in Nebraska on Friday night, Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City on Saturday. They're usually out at Lakeside when NASCAR's in town, but NASCAR juggled the schedule. This used to be Kansas week. Kansas moved up into September.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. We got an ASCS National Tour race there in September, so I got to see my 360 friends there. King of the West Series, they are continuing strong. Friday night, Colorado Speedway, the Anthony Simone Classic. Saturday night, Thunderbolt Raceway, the Dennis Roth Classic, 8,300 to win. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, Friday and Saturday, the Winter Nationals at Devil's Bowl. There's another race coming up. The Extreme Outlaw Series is racing there next week. But I hate that we're even talking like this, but this may very well be the last trip to Devil's Bowl. I know Wayne Johnson a couple weeks ago said he thinks this is it. Yeah. So just like I-30 last week. So if you're down in Texas, you need to get the Winter Nationals this week. Lernerville has the Steel City Stampede, mentioned them earlier on. Port Royal, Friday night racing. They have the big short track Super Series big block modifieds in there. Ashley's all pumped up because the Mud Turtles are in town. Oh yeah, they're going to be all around Lethal Chassis. You know how that is. That Lethal Chassis shop's up there. So Ashley's our co-host of our TV program. We do a TV program and this digital show. Ashley's a co-host of the TV program. Her and David, they run Lethal Chassis, which is right up just outside. It's in Mifflintown, I think it is actually, address-wise, not far from Port Royal. That place on race weekends, it's like a museum. It's like the central meeting spot. Yeah. You know, because everyone wants to go talk to Stremy. Everyone wants to go see Ashley and Baby Steel and everything like that.
Steel in the show.
You know, I'm sitting there and she says, Billy Pouch and Frankie Kerwood. Huh? How? You know, and they're just, they just popped in. People just pop in, and then those modified guys get down there, and of course they build different modifieds. Yeah. But they're always looking for different ideas.
Oh, of course.
So it's going to be big. So they're running sprint cars on Friday night, and then the Night of Champions at the fabulous Lincoln Speed. I think Freddie Raymer has clinched the championship, if I'm not mistaken. But the Night of Champions where they formally honor that. So we're getting down there, and then next week is the National Open at Williams Grove. It's that time of year.
Yes.
It's that time of year. So it's that time of year for you to get out and support sprint car racing. If they're racing still in your area, you need to go do it. That's for sure. We have a Twitter page. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group, and we stay fairly active on there. All of these shows, you can catch them on our YouTube page. We really like that. And folks, if you see something you like, or if you're enjoying this, share it, like it. That's kind of the way the cool kids are doing it these days. It's like it's like word of mouth means sharing and liking and reviewing. And so if you like what you're seeing and hearing on Wing Nation, share it. Say, hey, couldn't believe I heard Roach say this, or couldn't believe I heard Sunshine say this, and boom, send it out there. Spread the gospel a little bit. And we talked a little bit about for the most wonderful time of the year. We can also hook you up for the most wonderful time of the year. ShopWingNation.com. ShopWingNation.com. Sky is there waiting for your order, and she'll get it bundled up and shipped out to you. All of our Wing Nation gear, and that will be and you can get at the racetrack wherever Tom Book and Justin Peck, Tom Book Motorsports, Justin Peck's souvenir rig is. Wouldn't be surprised, those racers. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not at Port and Lincoln this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just love to race. Justin Peck, where I have to look at this again, like he has more races than anybody. It's like he's raced more times this year than anybody.
Interesting.
They race. Yeah. You drive for Tom Book, you're Justin Peck, you're Kurt, you're those guys. You ain't scared to go racing.
Ain't scared.
You ain't scared to go racing. So fun stuff for sure. Speaking of fun stuff, man, oh man, Mark Dobmeyer is our guest this week on the TV show. From the bail bond shop. Yes, from the bail bond shop. That's where he had the best cell service, phone service or whatever.
Gosh.
So no, it was the tech support. He said so whoever is in the bail bonds office knows how to run phones and Zoom calls quicker, better. So he was from the bail bond office.
Oh, goodness.
Dynamite Mark Dobmeyer. Love that guy. Love his story. And you just need to check it out this weekend. It's on MAV TV this weekend, Wednesday night on Rev TV. Really gives us a lot of detail about his wreck, his injury, his recovery. Mark has been very forthcoming, very, very, very forthcoming on that. And he really shared a lot. He's the real deal. He's Dynamite Dobmeyer. So when we find out what his kids' nicknames are as they go-kart race and everything else, that is your tease for it. So that is on Rev TV Wednesday night and on MAV TV Friday and Saturday. We appreciate Ryan Hand and Tyler Courtney for joining us, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength.